What if I told you that your thoughts aren't yours? That 99% of your thoughts you've been programmed to think, what to believe, and what you think that reality is. And now this isn't just some conspiracy theory on how the government is brainwashing us to believe what they want us to think or what they want us to believe. It's simply how life works, and it can't work any other way. The Matrix and its whole concept of a movie is very similar to how society works today, or rather just how society has forever worked ever since society has been a thing. In this video, I'm going to show you the philosophy behind the Matrix and how it's really similar to an allegory that was made by Plato called the Allegory of the Cave. How this allegory is still relevant to this day, why many people are afraid of the truth. But this allegory can be very complicated if it's not explained right, and it actually has many different meanings beyond the Matrix comparison. So because of that, and because I like this allegory a lot, this video is going to be the first of two videos that I'm going to talk about the Allegory of the Cave. And both videos we're gonna go deep, especially the second one. The second one will blow your mind. This one will blow your mind too, but I'm telling you, the second one is on another level. It's at the point where I guarantee you that many people they're not ready for the information that I'm about to unfold in that video. It's going to scare some people, because once I give you this information, you'll never look at reality the same ever again. But for now, let's keep our focus towards the Matrix, okay? So let's start from the beginning. The main character in the movie is a computer programmer who lives in a reality that he believes to be real. It's all he knows, and that's until he gets a call from an unknown character who calls himself Morpheus, who tells Neo that agents are after him all of a sudden. He gets captured by these agents for them to only insert an insect-like bug in his stomach, only for Neo to be woken up the next day like it was a dream or something. But again, he gets a call from Morpheus, and Morpheus tells him to meet up with him. And during his ride towards the meetup, he's with Trinity, who works with Morpheus, and she takes out the insect machine out of him, only to confirm that what he thought was a dream was really reality. And when they do meet, Morpheus tells Neo about the truth, about what reality actually is.
That you are a slave, Neo, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch.
And he gives him two options: take the blue pill and wake up the next day remembering nothing, or take the red pill and see what reality is actually like. And of course, for the sake of the movie, he takes the red pill. The plot of the movie is very similar to the Allegory of the Cave, and the reason why Plato even made the Allegory of the Cave was because of his master Socrates, or his teacher, in what we would say in the modern day, his teacher, why Socrates was killed for his way of thinking. And this is still relevant to today. People like Malcolm X, MLK, they were killed because of how much influence they had on their society. In the allegory, you have prisoners chained up on a wall in a cave who have been there since they were small children. They're chained up to the point where they can only look up towards the world in front of them. And then right behind them, further up, there's a campfire that is the only light source in the cave. Then behind the wall of the chained prisoners, you have people that are carrying outlines of objects like trees, dogs, birds, etc. And they poke out these outlines above the wall like a puppet show, so it can project shadows onto the wall from the fire, so the prisoners can only see the shadows. And every now and then they make noises with these shadows to create the illusion. And since the prisoners have been in the cave their whole life, all they know is the shadows on the wall. They've never seen a real dog, they've never seen a real tree or a bird. They don't even know that these things actually exist. They only know the shadows that imitate these things. To them, the shadows are real, not knowing that it's only an illusion. Until one day, a prisoner breaks free. Plato doesn't explain why this prisoner has broken free. All of them, know that he's unshackled, and now he has the ability to turn his head towards something that is not the wall full of shadows. But he's hesitant because, again, the wall with the shadows is all that he knows. He doesn't know anything else. Everything else is undiscovered territory. But despite of his anxiety, he turns anyway. And for the first time in his life, he sees the fire for the first time. And naturally, his eyes start to burn. But once he starts to get used to this direct light, he sees the outlines for the first time. He sees the people with the outline. He sees the fire, and he's in disbelief. Right now, to him, the shadows seem more real than anything else that he's seeing with his own eyes. And when looking past the fire, he sees the entrance of the cave, and he sees a light that is much brighter than the actual campfire that's in the cave. And you see, this is where the prisoner has a choice. He can either stay inside the cave where it's comfortable for him, not only because of his eyes, but because it's a really scary thought that what you thought was reality might be a facade, it might be fake, that your whole life might just be a whole lie. Or he can endure this uncomfortability and see what reality actually looks like, what the real world actually looks like. And of course, for the sake of the allegory, he climbs up and sees the real world for what it is. Now, this represents that in life, when we're born, when we're babies, we are a blank slate. We don't know anything. And what we know about reality is created by what our parents tell us. Not just only our parents, our religion, and our environment. If we didn't know anything, anyone can tell us a huge lie about the real world and we would believe it like it's the absolute truth, simply because we just don't know any better. We can't know any better. That's not until we actually start living life for ourselves and we experience different things. We experience different people with different backgrounds, religions, and values, and then we start to question our own. But most people reject their own questioning simply because it's more comfortable not to. Now, this is the part where the Matrix and the Allegory of the Cave start to differentiate from each other. Because in the Matrix, we see that reality is a dark dystopian future that is ruled by machines that use humans from birth for bioelectric tubes. The real world is much darker than the fake one. In the Allegory, however, once the prisoner is outside, sure, his eyes do need to readjust to the sunlight that is blinding him. And it's really uncomfortable at first for many, I don't know how long. But once his eyes start to finally adjust, he sees that the real world is much more beautiful than the one he previously had. And for the first time, he actually sees what an actual tree looks like. He sees what dogs look like, what birds look like, how they actually sound. Seeing the birds on the sky and seeing how the shadows are just a mere reflection of those things. He actually feels good about himself. He feels elated. He felt like he made the right choice. And sure, in the Matrix, most people who took the red pill felt like they made the right choice, even though their world is much more grim than they can ever imagine. But for some people, they wish that they never taken the red pill in the first place. You see, when watching the setup of the Matrix, you don't really realize how many people Morpheus has given the infamous red pill or blue pill choice, and how many people who actually chose the blue pill instead of the red pill. How many prisoners actively chose to stay inside the cave even though they know that their reality might be a fake one. Because knowing the truth or seeing what the truth might be is scary. You see, some people would rather live in a lie because ignorance is bliss. The truth hurts. Like the character Cypher, whose whole character arc in the movie is that he regrets taking the red pill and he thinks that he's better off in the simulation. He can't handle the truth like a lot of people. A lot of people just simply can't handle the truth. Let's say a person who is getting cheated on by their significant other, but they're in denial. See, they don't want to believe the truth. They don't want to know the truth because it's more comfortable to believe that their significant other is a loyal person. You see how the illusion is better than the actual reality itself. The truth might be scary, but it's the only thing that can set you free. Corny? Maybe. Cliche? Yeah. But it's true. It's true. But the comparison just doesn't stop here. You see, naturally, when the freed prisoner found this new enlightenment about the world, he wants to go and tell his other friends that are stuck in the cave. And so he goes back into the cave, but since his eyes are adjusted to the sun, all he sees in the cave is darkness, and he looks disoriented. And so now he's looking like an idiot, trying to find his way, trying to walk straight, not knowing where to go, and looking disoriented like a drunk. The prisoners see this. So when the freed prisoner tries to tell them the truth, they look at him and just, huh? What? You see, the prisoners don't believe him, because why would they believe him? To their perspective, they are the smart ones. They think that reality is their reality, and whoever says anything otherwise is an idiot. Why would they believe a person who's just walking into everything, seeing that he's basically blind when they can see perfectly fine? And so they ridicule the free. They start making fun of him. They even threaten to kill him. It's easier to fool people than to convince people that they've been fooled. Similarly, like the Matrix, not because the people who are plugged in want to kill them, but because people who are plugged in can be turned into agents whose whole agenda is to kill the rebellion, to stop the rebellion from rebelling, you know? See, people in the real world are hard stuck. When you tell them something about reality that is not congruent with their own, they're in disbelief. They're not gonna believe you. They believe in their own sense of reality, even though you might have a much broader range of what reality might be. And this is where most people stop when it comes to the meaning of the allegory of the cave. But I'm telling you right now, it gets much deeper than this. It gets much deeper towards the three mental complexities. You have the socialized mind, the self-authorized mind, and then you have the self-transforming mind. But for time purposes, not necessarily for this video, but most definitely for the next video, or just the video, the part 2 of this mini series, I guess you can call it. We're stopping here because I'm telling you, that is a whole nother video on its own, and it's going to blow your mind. So click the subscribe button to get notified when I do drop that video, or if you want to know how to change your life in just a simple mindset, click on the video that pops up right now.